What is the most important objection that you're getting right now that you can't overcome? Well, I'm going to tell you that in this episode. Well, not me, but my guest. And you're going to love it. Check it out. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And today I'm kicking off this year with this episode as one of our top episodes. And I'm making that prediction because Chris Beall, who is the CEO of ConnectAndSell, is going to lay out a beautiful formula. I mean, for many of us, we're making cold calls. You're reaching out to prospects, but we're doing it all wrong. I mean, I think it's fair to say that probably the ways that we've tried it in the past, based on our experiences, have been wrong. Chris brings some psychological portion to this conversation, as well as some practical experiment, because he's been able to analyze, I would fair to say, millions of cold calls and has developed a formula that works. In this episode, you're going to hear, we're going to run through an example, and you're going to see how this huge objection is standing in your way from landing more appointments. And we're going to show you how to fix it and to make sure you get more appointments. If you want to learn more about some of the cool things they're doing and Flight School, we have a link down below. They have a phenomenal podcast as well that goes deep into topics, and you're going to hear Chris talk about that. So first, I want you to be able to listen to this episode. And then once we've built the trust with you, I think you're going to want to check out those links. If this is the first time listening to the podcast, go ahead and subscribe. Also, tell one other person about it, because I guarantee you today, after this episode, you're going to be sharing this one a lot. And this is a prediction I'm making. It's going to be one of our number one episodes this year. Let's go ahead and dive in. Chris, welcome to the show.
Donald, I can't believe I'm lucky enough to be here.
I'm excited. We got the opportunity recently, when this episode published, we're kicking off the year here, but we got a chance a few months ago to meet in person at Outbound. That was phenomenal. And I am excited to be able to chat with you a little bit more. And one of the things I bragged about in the teaser is you're the data guy. In the sense that you have listened or have the opportunity to be able to evaluate so many calls, that you have a lot of insights on that. And I'm really looking forward to diving into that. But before we do, would you be willing to take just a minute or two and tell us a little bit more about what you do in your business, your role?
Sure. So I'm the CEO of ConnectAndSell. And what we do is let a rep push a button and talk to somebody on their list in a couple of minutes with no effort. So they go from talking to one person an hour to talking to as many people as they want to.
That sounds like pretty magical.
When people experience it, they often say, that's not what I expected. It's like, no, it's really fast.
And I think salespeople who are listening to this are probably intrigued right now. And obviously you've worked on that value statement there for a minute. So we're going to put that back in the show notes, and I'm going to tell folks that they need to connect with you for a demo. So I'm going to put that down there. So if you're listening to this episode and you really want to see how you can go ahead and have that many phone calls, go ahead and click on the link down below and go ahead and connect with Chris and his team and get a demo of what we're talking about here. But with that, Chris, you've been able to pull a lot of great insights. And one of the things that you've pulled, and we were discussing it, was the most important objection the majority of sellers trigger, and they can't handle. I want to hear what that most important objection is, and then go into, the why that's such a big objection and why sellers can't do it, and maybe how we can resolve that, if that's cool.
Sure, absolutely. So as you might suspect, I'm kind of into the cold call and its brother.
No, I didn't know about that.
Because I have no choice. I mean, we help folks have about something like 3 million cold conversations a year with targets.
Amazing.
I just got one, by the way, when we were starting. The time came right. This is a few minutes ago, and I got a call from some number I didn't know, and I thought it might have been your admin or something because I was setting up.
Yeah.
And it was one of my customers' reps calling me to sell me their product, which is one more cold call. So that's an inbound cold call, but I get to analyze a lot of outbound ones. About 3 million a year that connect, and about 60 million that don't connect. And so what we've learned, and we've taken up teaching people how to cold call at ConnectAndSell. we never wanted to do this. But when you start listening to these cold calls and you realize, they're harder than folks think. It's a very delicate dance, a psychological dance to get through that 1 minute. They average about 1 minute and 8 seconds. And so what's going on in there, right? So we've been analyzing what's going on, breaking it down, and we're practitioners too. So my team does lots of outbound. We talk to about 85,000 VPs of sales a year. So it's a team of 10, right? That talks to 85,000 VPs and actual conversations. So we've got to get good at it also, because that's how we grow our business. So we got into sort of tearing the cold call down into pieces and then looking at what works, what actually works, because we have the quantity. And then also going to some people we thought had some unusual insights. So Chris Beall, the FBI hostage negotiator guy, not still negotiating, but that's a heck of a cold call, right? And so he's got a point of view about this question: how long do we have to get trust in a cold call? And he says 7 seconds. That's what he told me one evening. And I said, really? Our research says 8 seconds. And he says, your research is wrong. It's 7 seconds. I'm like, I'm looking over there going, no, he's on his first bourbon. So I think he's sober, and he's telling me that. And I asked him, what do we have to do? He says, it's easy. All we have to do is show the other person we see the world through their eyes, and then demonstrate to them we're competent to solve a problem they have right now. And I asked, isn't the problem they have right now me? Right? I'm the problem. And he said, yeah, that's why you're in control. That's why you will always succeed. If your goal is trust, you win 100% of the time, because you control everything, including the fact that you are the problem. So it's that kind of stuff that we get into, right? And we started this thing called Flight School. See a little Flight School thingy there. Yeah. And we teach people how to do it, live fire. Like live fire, calling real folks, and we'll coach the first 7 seconds of the conversation for 2 hours. And 2 hours would be my 14, 15, 16 conversations. So one of the things that we noticed is it's not the rep per se, but it's the script and it's marketing's involvement in script creation that generates the number one unanswerable objection within a cold call, which is simple. You hear it all the time. Gosh, thanks, Donald. We're all set. We're all set. The problem with that objection is so simple. That person is asserting, as Anthony Iannarino would say in his Elite Sales Strategies book, which is, I think, a marvelous book, by the way. I just got a hold of it 4 months ago, which is because you and I are pretending we're in the future. This is excellent. So I like this little time travel thing we're doing. It's kind of like, I'm 68 years old doing this, and I thought I was 67 when we were sitting here together. What do I know? So
Anthony, you're just so much wiser.
Yeah, he talks about being one up. And one up doesn't mean one up like I'm one up on you because I'm going to dominate you. It means I know something you don't know that's of value to you or potential value to you, right? Well, what happens in that objection is the prospect, the contact, the other party is asserting that they are one up. They know something you don't know, which is that they're all set, that they're covered, right? And think about it. If you tell them that you have a solution to their problem that they are unaware of, they're unaware of your solution, you're telling them two things at the same time, or maybe some mix of the two. One, they're not paying attention. How'd they miss this? Two, they're not competent, right? They saw it, but they didn't get it. And nobody likes a salesperson to call up and just say, you don't know how to do your job. I do. Mm-hmm. Right? So while you might, it's a bad thing to assert too early in the relationship. And a cold call is way too early to say to somebody, you're not diligent, you're not doing your job right. If only you'd listen to me, all would be well. So when you're trying to be one up, you're trying to assert something that you know that they don't know. The jujitsu is they're going to flip you over and put you one down. And they're just going to have to say this. And they'll say it. You can tell it's this objection by the words. We're all set by the voice. The voice is always friendly and relaxed because you just gave them a way out of the call, a way to achieve their goal, which is to go back to doing what they were doing and to dismiss you because you're the problem. And away you go. So that's the objection. Why is it triggered? It's so simple. Folks think of the cold call as something that's within the marketing and sales arena, and it has a message. And if it has a message or a script, that must involve marketing, because marketing does messaging. Therefore, marketing gets involved directly or indirectly, directly by participating in script creation, indirectly through sales enablement, by piling a bunch of information into the heads of salespeople and sales managers that they use as the foundation for what they're going to say. So marketing's job is simple. I know, because I'm a trained marketer. So here's what I was trained to do. Establish your offering within a category. That way, if somebody needs that category, they're going to consider you possibly, right? So in advertising and in all sort of social outreach and so forth, marketing always talks about the category. ConnectAndSell's category would be whatever, it's telephone-based outreach or something like that, or they'd have some sales tech or whatever it happens to be. They got a category. Then differentiate yourself from other offerings in the category along dimensions that you imagine or think or have researched are of interest to your ideal customer. So we're one of these, but we're different from these, like this, therefore love us, right? The problem with that in the cold call is as soon as you say what the category is, you're in the world of we're all set. Because you've said this category is important to you and you're not doing anything about it. It's like, yes, I am.
We have a great HR system.
Yeah.
We sell financial software and we're all set. We have one in place.
We're all set. Right. So
we're all set.
So marketing's direct and indirect influence and the instinct to say more about yourself. That combination is deadly in the cold call. And this is the failure point of 95% plus of all cold calls that get past an opener where you get a little bit of an audience. It fails right there. So think of it in terms of false negatives. The biggest problem in business is false negatives. You go through the effort of contacting somebody, you alert them to a problem, you make them think about the problem, you fail to engage them, and you have effectively been working for your competitor throughout that entire process.
I mean, in so many ways, you're right on that. And I think you're right. That's that secret ninja objection. We are all set for those reasons that you've shared. I would say, so how can a seller fix that? She's listened to this episode and she's a BDR and she's thinking, man, I need to do better. How do you best go about opening now within that first 7 seconds?
Sure. So first of all, you have a question of what is your relationship to this person at the time when you're going to say anything about the value of what you do. So there's two possibilities. One is that they're afraid of you still, and the other is that you've solved that problem. When you cold call somebody, they're afraid of you. We don't think that way. We think they're angry with us or annoyed with us or whatever. But in fact, when we cold call, we've ambushed somebody and we're a stranger that they can't see. So if you want to say, what's really bad about human existence through all time? Let's go back to the life in the village. So I'm in my village on this side of the river and everything's good. I trust everybody in my village. There are 57 of us here. Oh, look, somebody just died. There's only 56, right? So here I am in my village and everything's cool. I can turn my back on anybody. They're not going to do anything bad to me except maybe a practical joke. Say it's nighttime. So now everybody's invisible. Say a stranger shows up at night in our village at 1 a.m, say, not good. Not good.
Don't know who you are.
They're not one of us. They're from across the river. We're civilized people. How do we know we're civilized? Because we share a bunch of stuff culturally, right? Our speech, our food. We know we paint our faces vertically. Those people over there, they paint their faces horizontally. Good God, what is wrong with those people, right? And so when they show up at our village at 1 a.m. in the dark, generally they're not there to offer us a Bud Light. They're sort of coming to change the demographics violently and suddenly. And we don't like it. We're afraid of invisible strangers. And it's a deep universal fear like the fear of snakes that people have, because, hey,
Yeah.
snakes very rarely have your best interest at heart, regardless. I mean, they might be harmless, might be harmful, but the subset that are harmful, they probably aren't after you, but if they get you, it's bad, right?
That's bad.
So we have these inbuilt fears that come from the deep past, and one of them is the fear of the invisible stranger. We don't like it. Well, guess what? When you cold call somebody, you are the invisible stranger. So you have a problem. You've scared this person. They may express that fear in annoyance, impatience, dismissal, but it's actually fear. And it turns out you need to relieve that fear and replace it with another emotion before they're ready to listen to you about anything of value. Talking to a scared person about the value you can provide in their business is nutty. Right?
I'm all set. Not interested.
Yeah, I have a good reason. And their goal is simple. As soon as you answer a cold call and you realize it's not somebody that you expected, like I answered this one today, and it was somebody from a customer who will be unnamed, and I still wanted to get off the call. Why? Because I was supposed to be on this with you, and I thought it was your admin calling me.
Yeah.
That's why, right? So I want to get off the call. That's my goal. That's actually a great thing. The best thing about cold calling is the other person's goal. It's to get off this call, but their limitation. They need to keep their self-image intact, because in all interactions with other humans, we treasure our self-image and do not want to tarnish it. It's not about a reputation with them. It's about a reputation with ourselves. I do not want to be a jerk, or whatever my self-image is, right? So there's this delicate moment where that person is afraid. We know their goal. They want to get off the call. We know their constraint. They want to keep their self-image intact. And we know what Chris Voss taught us, which is if we can express to them clearly, we see the world through their eyes. Okay, you don't like me, right? I'm a problem. No, it's not personal. It's just situational.
Yeah.
I'm the problem. And then we can show them how to solve a problem they have right now, the problem that is me. Then they enter into a different psychological state, which is involuntary trust.
Yeah.
They're stuck trusting you. And if your goal in the cold call is to get trust, open like that, you're still going to get, we're all set, but I'm just trying to get you to the point where you have a shot.
Yeah. What would that sound like, Chris? If, let's say, connect and sell.
Yeah. So the easy opener, which some people make fun of and some people think is.
Can we do the full role play?
Yeah, we can do this. We'll do just the first part, because then we'll break down.
7 seconds.
No, let's do the whole thing. Let's do the whole thing, and you have to say yes. All right. So you go
yes.
ring, ring, and you answer, right?
Ring, ring.
Hey, Donald, I know I'm an interruption. Can I have 27 seconds tell you why I called?
Yes.
All right, Donald, I believe we've discovered a breakthrough that completely eliminates the waste and the frustration that keeps your best sales reps from being effective on the phone or even bothering to use the phone at all. And the reason I reached out to you is to get 15 minutes on your calendar to share this breakthrough with you. Do you happen to have your calendar available? Okay, that's it. I'm done.
All right, you're done.
I'm done. Now, what happened? When I said, I know I'm an interruption, right? I could have said who I was, by the way, but I didn't have to.
Yeah.
I know I'm an interruption. I threw myself under the bus. You see me as a bad thing. I do not say, notice, oh, I know I'm interrupting your day, or I realize this might be a bad time, or any softies like that. I have to throw myself all the way under the bus. The wheels have to go da-thump, 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 because that's how buses go. And immediately it's like, yes, I'm an interruption. I'm a bad thing. I see the world through your eyes. I said it right now, and I said it hard and flat.
So it's me, 1 a.m. in the morning. It's me saying, hey, I am from the other village over there, and I know and I know I'm a threat in your eyes or something to that nature.
Right. So I'm going to make some noise as I'm coming into your village. Yeah. I'm going to make some noise. I'm going to put my hands up, and I'm going to say, hey, everybody, I realize, this is scaring you. And it's like, they're going to go, oh. And then it's like, can I have a few minutes to tell you why I came over here? Or a few seconds or whatever? Because it's like, I'm not going to move toward you. I'm not going to threaten you. I'm just asking for you to say yes to me leaving. That's actually what it is. And it's like, yeah, that's a fair trade. We don't have to kill you quite yet. You stopped, right? You gave us the ability to kill you, so we feel pretty good about that. You appear to be unarmed, you know, you're
So
alone. That's good.
in your mind, you're in control, but isn't it? But we go back to what Chris says: if trust is the issue, is the focus. We're truly in control because we're guiding it. Is that? Am I off on that?
Yeah, we're completely in control because then by relieving the fear and by demonstrating we're competent to solve a problem they have right now, which is me,
Yeah.
right? I can solve the problem that is me. I can turn around and go back and swim across a river.
Yeah.
I can do that. I know you want me to, right? Because even though I've kind of disarmed myself, you'd still rather have me go away.
Yeah.
Just like that person who called me right before we got on.
And so in that, I don't care anything really about who you are and, the company you're from and how long you've been around. Now it's going back to what you just did. You're going into that problem.
Right.
That
And what I'm
breakthrough.
doing is it's very, very delicate at that point. And this part is like, how do you avoid the we're all set objection?
Yeah.
Because as of yet, all we've gotten the opportunity to speak.
Yeah.
And we have trust. Trust is actually more important than the opportunity to speak because until we blow the trust, we get to keep it forever.
Yeah.
So it's the most valuable part of the cold call is the instantaneous creation of trust, 7 seconds. Everything else is secondary. You can I call it, this is how you do market dominance. Market dominance, you do it the simple way. Pave the market with trust, harvest the trust at your leisure. That's
Pave
it.
the market with trust, harvest.
Pave the market with trust because it keeps your competitors from doing anything. I mean, what are they going to do? Come in and say, don't trust that guy? Nobody likes to be told not to trust somebody that they're trusting. That's how they become untrustworthy.
Yeah.
Right? So you seal the market off from all competitors. 7 seconds. My folks will do it today, 10 of them. They'll each have 40 or 50 conversations like that today.
Wow.
I care how many meetings they set. Yeah, 2 of them so far have set 3 meetings today. It's 11:33 in the morning. That's fine. I like to see 0.6, 0.7 meetings per hour sustainably.
Yeah.
Over long periods of time per rep. But that's not the real measure. The real thing we're doing is paving the market with trust. And paving the market with trust allows us to harvest that through follow-up conversations when people are ready to actually think about that problem. Because after all, by definition, we caught them when they weren't.
Yeah.
What are the odds somebody's sitting there thinking, gosh, I wonder how I can get my people to be more effective on the phone by making the phone sufficiently efficient that they'll use it. Oh, look, the phone rang. It's, Sal from ConnectAndSell. That's not happening.
Yeah. I'm intrigued with the end when you asked for the 15-minute meeting. Do you see that as, obviously this is, you do because that's what you used. I've seen in the past to get them to engage, but this is obviously you already got them to engage at this point. So I think I answered my question already, but asking it for that 15-minute meeting versus would you be open to hearing more about that?
Yeah, if you want to try to have a little bit of the meeting, then you can ask if they're open to hear more about it.
Gotcha. Okay.
But the fact is, and I'll go to Anthony's Iannarino's world, right? You have a hypothesis about what a problem is that they have that you know how to do something about.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really need to engage deeply at this moment to determine whether or not that's even true. The only question is, will they take the meeting? The only time that they're going to confess their problems is in the meeting.
Yeah.
So don't try to get them to confess now. That's for discovery. Discovery is all about the confessional.
Yeah.
No confession is needed now. Just an agreement that it makes sense for them to spend 15 minutes, just like you spend money, in order to learn about this breakthrough. Spend to learn. That's it. The meeting has value. And the meeting has to have value both in reality and in the heart and mind of the caller.
In practicality, yeah.
And when I ask SDRs or AEs, so what's the value of the meeting? Oh, well, then we might do a deal with them. No, what's the value for them
Hmm.
in the meeting, in the discovery meeting? What do you mean? Well, like, what are 3 things that they're going to learn in the discovery meeting because you guys are experts that they can take with them even if they never do business with you? What are those 3 things? Because that's your product. The product is the discovery meeting. There are 3 things they're going to learn in it.
Yeah.
If they pay attention, because your guys are experts. You're an expert, or your rep's an expert. You're AE. And regardless if they ever do business with you, you are confident they'll get value from your product, which is the meeting.
Yeah.
Now it's easy to insist that they say yes to the meeting, because it's for their own good, because there is no situation. I can't think of any situation. Let's take a tough one.
Yeah.
Okay, I just did the
Sure.
Connect and Sell pitch. So let's take one of somebody who's a solopreneur who does exactly 0 outbound calling, right?
Yeah.
Should they, in the mind of Chris Beall, the SDR, having just said those 5 sentences, in my mind, in my heart, do I believe they will get value from a meeting with, say, not me, but with Mark Hodgson, one of the guys who works for me? Answer, yes. They'll learn 3 things.
Yeah.
One of the things they'll learn is that the issue with addressing your market by voice now remotely, which is what we call the telephone, is an efficiency issue, not an effectiveness issue. They probably think that it doesn't work. The it that doesn't work is it's too inefficient to get people on the phone. If you solve that, then you can think about your business differently.
Yeah.
So that's one thing you'll learn. Secondly, you'll learn that the emotions around call reluctance have to do with efficiency, not with fear of performance. We all think it's fear of performance, but it's actually frustration
Yeah.
of not actually getting to perform. What fun is that? I keep coming out of the dugout, and then I go to the on-deck circle, and then I swing the bat, and then the inning's over. And then I come out of the dugout again. It's like it drives me crazy because
It's
sales
Groundhog Days.
perform. And then the third thing that they're going to learn is that the human voice is actually capable of instantaneously producing trust, which is the key to market dominance for any business. And while we might think value is the key to market dominance, it's actually not value, it's trust, because trust runs faster than value. And, it's like the difference between somebody with a rapier and somebody with a broadsword. There's a reason broadswords went out of fashion, because the guy with a rapier wins every time. By the time you swing the sword, you got little holes in you all over the place, and your blood's all over the ground. It's not so great, right? So, that those are the 3 things they'll learn. Well, does it have anything to do with their specific business? Not yet.
No.
Not yet. Those are things we as experts at Connect and Sell know, believe, and can back up with facts.
Yeah.
And so that's the product. The product is the meeting. Simple.
Love it. My goodness. So we found out what that major objection was. We understood how to solve that objection. I want to ask one last piece as we come to wrap it up. Why? And we may have, I think we glossed over just a little bit. Why do so many organizations miss that? Is it just because that's what they've been raised on, or just instinctively? You kind of mentioned marketing a little bit earlier.
Yeah, here's the why.
Yeah.
They're in a hurry to get to the goal, and the goal is that the other party sees value in what you're doing. So trust seems weird and off to the side.
Yeah.
So all scripting that's written goes, I'll call it, through value rather than through trust. As soon as you go to value, and then you say value is in your product. So we help companies like X, Y, and Z. We do this, we do that. The problem is you put yourself in a category.
Yeah.
And as soon as you're in the category, if it's important to the other party, you've insulted them by saying you don't know about this category, you don't know about this player. You get immediate psychological reactance. They push back, and you've opened the door to get to their goal. Their goal is to get off this conversation as soon as possible with their self-image intact. So now they improve their self-image immediately by saying, we're all set. That's a positive. We're good. That's another way you could say it is, we're good. We're good. I'm one up. right? You just opened the door to me achieving my goal without you achieving your goal, which is to get me to see this the sensibility of attending this meeting, of spending my 15 minutes on the meeting. You offered me a path of least resistance that's much more attractive, and I take it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Chris, you're a gentleman and a scholar. We've been edified today.
Well, I tell you what, I want to have more conversations with you about a lot of stuff. This is funny. I never expected to be in this field. As some people know, I'm an old physicist, mathematician, fell into software, started building software, and then realized somebody's got to sell the damn stuff.
Yeah.
And it's one of those jobs you start breaking it down, you go, oh, it's harder than it looks. It's more interesting. Right? It's more interesting. And what's so interesting to me is the most important dance in the entire sales equation is not closing.
Thank you.
It's not even opening. It is this 5 sentences or thereabouts 1 minute conversation where somebody goes from fear to trust to curiosity to commitment. And if you can hold that conversation, you can dominate markets and you can teach it. It's a very teachable thing. We tend to leave reps on their own trying to learn how to do it, as though they're going to reinvent psychology, I guess.
Yeah.
It's too hard. It's too hard.
I love it. That's why, great sellers are in few compared to the masses. I love this. Chris, if folks out there want to get in touch with you to check out the cool things you guys are doing with Connect and Sell, how did it go about doing so?
Sure. If you want to learn more about my theory of why all this stuff works, you can immerse yourself in my accidental podcast called Market Dominance Guys. And somewhere in those 140 episodes, you probably find something that resonates. So there's some stuff in there about why no-shows are great, for instance. Everybody hates no-shows. They're the best thing in the world. There's stuff that you just wouldn't expect. Then you can go to Connect and Sell site and say, hey, I want to do a test drive. Test drive is not a demo. We don't demo. We never demo. All we do is let you experience the thing yourself. It's like jumping in. Like one time I got to jump in a Ferrari 455 with an instructor and take it out on a Formula One course for 7 laps. Well, I guarantee you, A, I needed the instructor, and B, I found out that my 50 plus years of driving were not up to the task, right? So there's magic sometimes in experience that can't be conveyed by either description or show and tell or whatever. You just got to do it. And Connect and Sell, like a Ferrari 455, will flatten your eyeballs. It is that fast, and you got to experience it. And fortunately, that's free.
Love it. Well, you don't have to pay to ride this Formula One, and this Formula One course. So, folks, go ahead and connect with Chris and learn about him and some of the cool things that he's doing, and see if there's an opportunity there for you to find benefit. We have a link to the podcast in the show notes, and I hope this is able to help you dominate this year. Chris, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Donald, unbelievably wonderful to be here with you.
We're going to take off. And we're going to hit some turbulence and we're going to land. Chris Beall gave us some really good insights today. Connect and Sell has some powerful solutions, amazing software, also amazing insights. I'm telling you, that can help you out. We don't need to guess anymore. We can utilize data. That's what Chris is doing. He and his team has gone through I'm not saying a word right, but they've gone through the struggles. They've gone through the experiments. And they have the details for you. And I would love for you to check it out. Our team started adopting it, and it's something that we've seen made a big impact. So let's go ahead and get some more appointments. I encourage you to check out our sponsors. They're giving away some amazing offers, some amazing deals that you and your team could take advantage of right now. As always, I do this because I want you to succeed. I want you to find more of those ideal customers. I want you to know what to say when you reach out to them. I want you to close more deals. But most importantly, I want you to raise your level of thinking and go out and do big things. Thanks so much for watching.